witness stand next. But as to when, that is the question. Good evening, you're watching Political Beat. I'm Lourdes De Vera. The latest round of questioning put the NBI's investigation under the microscope, from the veracity behind Duterte's claims to allegations of bias in the probe. The defense pressed NBI Regional Director Jeremy Lotoc on whether Duterte's allegations against President Marcos and former Speaker Martin Romualdez were true. Lotoc said he could only verify that Duterte made the remarks, but not whether the claims themselves were factual. Lotoc also said that the supposed Operation Romanov plot remained unvalidated. The defense again raised questions over what it called a one-sided NBI investigation, which an accusation that Lotoc denied. Meanwhile, senators also took turns questioning the witness. Senator Pia Cayetano asked whether the target of an alleged threat must actually feel fear for the statement to qualify as a grave threat. The prosecution said actual fear is not required as long as the intent to intimidate can be established. The defense, however, insisted that Duterte's statements were mere responses and not threats. Senator Robin Hood Padilla, meanwhile, questioned Lotoc about a pending complaint against him and asked whether a person facing a case should confront it. Lotoc said he would answer the charges once these are certified by the trial court, adding that he would not run away from the case. Meanwhile, as we speak, the impeachment trial continues. And for the latest on the ongoing trial, we have our mobile journalist, Merrimon Reyes. Merrimon, all right, so far, what were the main arguments presented by both the prosecution and the defense today?
During the cross-examination of the defense to NBI Regional Director and Cybercrime Division Chief Attorney Jeremy Lotoc, they pointed out that he has no personal knowledge of the alleged threats uttered by VP Sara Duterte against President Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza Araneta Marcos, and former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. With this argument, the witness may be considered unreliable, possibly mistaken, or even fabricating his testimony. The defense also asked whether Lotoc knew if VP Sara had actually hired someone to carry out the alleged threat. Lotoc said he has no personal knowledge and does not know whether VP Sara actually hired a hitman to kill President Bongbong Marcos. He said his statement was based solely on what the Vice President herself had said. Because of that, the defense also insisted that there is no confirmation that the VP hired the hitman. They said this is because Lotoc has no personal knowledge of it. However, the prosecution disagreed, and they say that the defense is entitled to their own imagination. The defense team again maintained that VP Sara's statements during the online press conference held in 2024 cannot be considered threats. They argued that the statements were not directly addressed to President Bongbong Marcos, First Lady Liza, or former Speaker Romualdez. Lotoc had stated that based on their investigation, PBBM, First Lady Liza, and former Speaker Romualdez were alarmed and feared by the threats made by VP Sara. However, according to the prosecution, the Supreme Court itself has ruled that the person threatened does not have to actually feel fear for an act to qualify as grave threats. Pero at the end of the day, the defense still insisted that VP Sara did not make any threat and was merely responding to a question during the online press conference. And so far, what we are seeing, bago rin ako tumayo dito, is yung recross examination nitong prosecution panel dito kay Attorney Jeremy Lotoc. Lourdes.
Recross, no? Okay, so kanina there was a question about the supposed Oplan Romanov. And even Senator Ping Lacson expressed surprise, actually, that upon finding out that it was actually intended for the Marcoses and not the family of the Vice President. Am I correct?
Correct, Lord. Ang unang nag-open niya, si Senator Raffy Tulfo, basing it yung question niya rin yesterday, na narinig niya itong salitang Romanov mula kay Davao City Mayor Baste Duterte sa isang rally, Maisog Rally. And kinonfirm ito ni Attorney Lotoc na sinasabi nung nag-conduct sila ng open source investigation, una, nagpatawag sila, nag-issue sila ng subpoena dito kay Princess Maui na nagtanong kung baka raw kumbaga mag-iingat itong si VP Sara noong online press conference noong November kasi daw baka raw mangyari yung Operation Romanov. Pero hindi nagpakita si Princess Maui, so kinonsider muna nilang nakasantabi muna itong Operation Romanov na sinasabi ni Princess Maui. Pero nung nag-backtrack din sila, nakita nga nila na doon sa isang maisog rally, ang unang nagbanggit daw niya nung Romanov kasi ang nilalaban ng defense hindi raw Operation Romanov, Romanov lang daw ang sinabi ni Mayor Baste Duterte. So nagulat nga rin daw sila and ngayon lang din nila nalaman as also asked over and over again by Senator Judge Ping Lacson na hindi pala directed dito sa kanila sa pamilyang Duterte yung Romanov supposedly yung operation kundi raw doon sa first family kasi ang nagbibitiw noon itong si Mayor Baste na sinasabi kumbaga pagka matutulog isipin daw itong Romanov. Lord.
Marymon, the promise yesterday was that they were going to present a witness who would, or an evidence of the existence of, there was an actual hitman, or they did not use the word, no? Pero there was somebody was actually contracted, no? Mukhang wala ngayon yan, at from the way things are paced, do you think they would have time to put on the witness stand si Zulaika Lopez?
Lord, ang sinasabi kasi ni Attorney Lotto, basing it of their evidence and not his personal knowledge, may nakontrata na or may nakausap si VP Sara para nga doon sa supposed assassination plot. Pero then again, dinedenay kasi ng defense na wala raw nakontrata, wala raw nakausap whatsoever. Pero ang pinagbabasehan ni Lotok is yung transcript nila ng online press briefing and even yung repetitions ng statements ni VP Sara, hindi lang noong November 23, noong November 26 na ulit din. Ang sabi pa dito ni Attorney Lotok, pwede naman daw sabihin na lang later on kung sakali na joke lang itong binitiwang salita ni VP Sara, pero hindi. Inulit niya ito noong November 26, kaya still nandyan pa rin yung sinasabi nilang actual at seryoso itong threat ng bise. And yung kung babalikan natin yung Operation na Romanov, well, historically, ito kasi yung pamilyang Romanov sa Russia na napatay, so they were wiped. So ito yung kumbaga kaya siya questionable or may relevance siya dito, kaya natatawag na assassination plot, just to put context. Pero dito naman kay Attorney Zulaika Lopez, we saw her earlier, ang nasabi ni impeachment court spokesperson Attorney Reggie Tongkol, as much as possible, they'll be following the schedule for the presentation of the witnesses, and that includes this day si Attorney Zulaika Lopez after ni Attorney Loto. Pero ang sinabi
Nako.
rin ni Attorney Tonggol kahapon, hindi rin okay din daw, wala rin daw problema kung mayroong magmo-motion from the senator judges or from the prosecution or defense to cut the proceedings short and to continue the next day tulad ng ginawa kagabi. Pero so far, wala pa tayong indication na mayroon ng ganong magre-request. Pero ang malinaw, kung sakali after ni Attorney Lotok, isasalang si Attorney Zulaika Lopez, Chief of Staff of the Office of the Vice President. Lord.
Mhm. Okay, so magdadalawang araw na ang naka 9 hour, ilang bang oras kahapon kay Lotok. Pero so far, nakadalawang araw na at hindi pa rin nauupo itong si Zulaika Lopez. In the event na maubusan ng oras, mag-i-issue ba ng bagong subpoena ang Senado para sa kanya?
Lord, kasi kapag ka nagpapatawag sila ng tetestigo and ang actually ang napag-usapan din dito yung kung may initiative to attend. So, kuwari sa case ni Director Melvin Matibag ng NBI, open naman daw siya na pumunta talaga kung may subpoena man or wala. Dito kasi sa case na to, pinapasubpoena si Attorney Zulaika Lopez. So, it is possible na kung sakaling hindi matuloy ngayon or hindi matatapos ngayon yung pagsalang dito kay Lopez, magkakaroon pa rin ng subpoena sa kanya for the next day. Ito lang yung sinasabi ni Attorney Tonggol na kumbaga para lang may safe to say na magpapakita itong si Attorney Lopez. Batid din na part siya ng nakaschedule na tetestigong ipapatawag. Pero yun nga, nakita natin siya kanina dito, pero so far hindi pa natin siya ulit hahagilap at hindi pa siya umuupo sa witness stand. Lord.
Marymon, may mga narinig tayong mga nagtanong na mga senator judges for the very first time, ano? Ito yung mga madalas tahimik like Senator Bongo at si Senator Mark Villar, maraming nagulat na nagtanong, no? Si Senator Robin Hood may niraising issue, pero can you tell us about it? Pakilinaw. May kaso raw itong si Lotok, tama ba?
Actually, may pending case daw at inopen ito ni Senator Judge Robin Padilla. Pero ang sinasabi kasi ni Attorney Jeremy Loto, sasagot daw siya kumbaga sa proper forum, kapag ka nandoon na. Pero for now, eto siya at tetestigo siya na may kinalaman sa investigation na ginawa ng Cybercrime Division ng NBI doon sa supposed threats na binitiwan ni VP Sara, and hindi naman daw siya tatakbo kung sakali man. Yung kay Senator Bongo naman, ang tinanong niya kasi earlier, yung related sa inciting to sedition, kung may nagawa raw bang ganon si VP Sara. And paano raw masasabing may inciting to sedition kung may sinasabi rin naman si VP Sara na wag lumabas sa kalye itong mga supporters niya. Ang sabi dito ni Attorney Jeremy Loto, nandyan yung paulit-ulit niyang sinasabi na kinokondena niya yung administration, hindi raw siya naniniwala sa iba pang posisyon na mas mataas sa kanya. At yung laban nga raw, wala sa EDSA, nasa Palasyo, nasa Malacanang. So nandoon yon. And it is possible na magkukos siya ng ruckus, ng chaos. Pwedeng may maudyok na individual o mga grupo na magdulot ng gulo. At ang nakikita nila dito, God forbid, may mangyayari raw kay VP Sara. Ang sasabihin naman ngayon, ipupunto naman ito dito sa first couples, kay former House Speaker. Meron din naman pwedeng mangyari, God forbid, may mangyayari sa first couple, may mangyayari hindi maganda kay former House Speaker, ibubuntod naman daw ito kay VP Sara. So yun yung pinagbabatayan nila. Kaya seryoso itong binitiwang pagbabanta ni VP Sara Duterte. And ang sabi rin naman sa Supreme Court ruling, hindi nga necessarily kailangan talagang maipakita na mayroong takot, pero nandoon kasi
Mhm.
itong still na pagkabahala ng
May
supposed
mga
na
sinight
nakatanggap
nga,
ng mga
oo.
pagbanta.
May mga sinight, ano, at nagkaroon pa ng konting wrestlingan pagdating sa objection. Itong si attorney Ligutan ay pinipigilan yung tinatanong niya kung naaalala daw nitong witness ang kaibahan ng felony versus crime at kung ano nga ba raw ba yung mga elemento na mag-incite to sedition. At interesting na tinanong itong si Win Gatchalian, Senate President, na napasagot itong witness na may kinalaman sa mga nakikita niyang observations o mga hirit ng mga tao sa Facebook.
And Lord, ang tinanong din kanina ni Senator Judge and Senate President Sherwin Gatchalian kung meron daw ba talagang nakontratang assassin. Ang nasabi kasi dito ni Attorney Loto, yes, based sa utterances ni VP Sara, and that led them to believe na yung VP ay hindi raw nagbibiro at already spoken to someone. Plus, ang sinasabi rin kasi dito ng defense, yung supposed alleged threats or yung naging utterances ni VP Sara, hindi raw directly dineliver dito sa first couple tsaka sa former House Speaker. Pero ang sinasabi naman ni Attorney Loto, ganun na rin daw yun kasi nga it was broadcasted live doon sa social media at hindi raw malabong makakaabot ito doon sa recipients ng threat dahil nga naglabas ng reaction itong tatlo plus the reactions from agencies na nakikita nilang threat nga raw ito sa security that includes yung Armed Forces of the Philippines. So everyone online and even yung presence ng media personnel na nandoon sa online press briefing, ang sinabi rin ni Attorney Loto, lahat ng mga ito nagbigay ng kanilang interview, nagpahiwatig sila ng alam nilang nangyari doon sa online press briefing, pero nilinaw na according daw sa council nitong media personnel, hindi na raw mag-i-issue ng affidavit. Pero ang binigay na lang is interview, kaya affidavit ng NBI ang pinadala rin nila sa DOJ for the case build-up.
Marymon, kala ng iba, hihirit si Senator Go ng, alam mo, sayang lang sa oras itong impeachment, buti pa tumulong na lang tayo sa mga tao. Anyway, Marymon, may usap-usapan daw na since nakatakdang umupo sa witness stand si Zulaika Lopez, ito rang Vice President Sara Duterte is expected to attend. Hanggang ngayon ba may mga indikasyon pa rin na mangyayari yan?
Lord, what we saw earlier kasi, bukod for example, dito sa gilid ko, dyan sa hallway na yan, papuntang session hall, nakakalat yung mga PNP personnel kanina umaga. Nung nagsa-circulate na yung reports na si VP Sara Duterte ay pupunta personally dito sa Senado. Pero walang naging direct confirmation from Attorney Michael Powa himself. Ang sasabi niya lang, meron daw commitments around Manila itong si Vice President Duterte, pero titignan pa raw kung kayang makarating o makahabol sa impeachment trial day to day. Pero kanina pa nung lumabas din si Attorney Powa, sabi niya, sorry to disappoint, wala pa rin daw silang info talaga kung magpapakita itong si VP Sara Duterte. Pero ang naobserbahan din natin sa labas naman, doon sa may parking lot, marami rin ang nakakalat na PNP personnel plus mga nagbabantay from the OSAA. Lord.
At marami siyang may sarili din siyang group, di ba? Tama, Mary Mon?
Yes.
Parang personnel. Malalaman mo kung may nagkakagulo na sa hallway, tama ba?
Oh Lord, tulad nung sinalubong natin last week si VP Sara Duterte, ang una kasi nating nakita talaga dito, yung presence ng OSAA plus numerous PNP personnel plus yung security team mismo ng Office of the Vice President. Kumbaga kay VP Sara na yon. And then later on, yun na, nasalubong na natin siya, dumating na rin siya dito, pero very short lang yung naging statement niya. Plus, pumunta siya dito para makipagkita sa defense team. Kasi ang sinasabi ni Attorney Powa, hindi raw siya haharap sa impeachment trial, ang haharap daw doon legal counsel ni VP Sara at silang defense team daw mismo. So we'll see kung sakali magpakita si VP if she'll be sitting at the VIP gallery box sa loob ng plenary hall or kung magsistay ba siya doon sa holding room ng defense kung saan pwede namang ma-monitor yung nangyayari sa session hall.
Oo, may mga nagtatanong pa raw from her party kung pwede raw ba magdala ng coffee machines, tama ba? Kung ano-anong mga appliances for...
Correct.
Mm-mm.
Coffee maker, equipment, iba pang mga gamit daw. Yan yung reason kaya dumating si Atty. Zulaika Lopez nitong last week bago siya magpakita today. Administrative matters according to the Senate Secretary Ray Bantug and not as impeachment clerk of court. Administrative matters lang daw. Nagtanong lang kung ano yung pwedeng i-set up nila sa holding room and even if they could bring their own media personnel. And in the affirmative, sabi naman ni Sec Bantug, ma-accommodate naman daw sila. Pero if ang request ng media nila ay mag-cover daw sa loob ng plenary hall, inuunahan na ni Sec Bantug na hindi raw yun pwede.
Pag sinabing media nila, ito ba yung mga vloggers na sabihin natin ay hindi bahagi ng mainstream media pero bahagi ng kanyang kumbaga parang personal na network?
Lord, ang sabi ni Sec Bantug, i-clarify niya raw muna yan. Lahat ng yung very specific detail, hindi siya nabanggit talaga. Pero ang nililinaw lang, basta kung may media personnel na ipapasok, for example, yung iba kasing mga senador, may kanya-kanya silang photographer, may videographer sila, so permitted naman daw yon. Pero in the spirit of fairness, plus yung logistics lang din, hindi maaaring pumasok sa loob itong media personnel to take video or photo documentation ng proceedings.
So mukhang walang papasok na Typhoon Inday sa Senate Area of Responsibility sa gabing ito. Bukas, teka muna, bago ko itanong kung ano ang dapat asahan tomorrow, kumbaga ang huling pagdinig for the week, ano ang sinabi ni Vice President Sara Duterte sa kanyang statement naman na nilabas habang nangyayari itong paglilitis?
Well, kanina kasi naglabas ng statement si VP Sara Duterte and sinasabi niya yung impeachment complaint daw against her is not supported by evidence following this fourth day of the impeachment trial. She repeatedly claimed na there were threats where none existed, there was an invention of an assassin where there was none, there was the fabricating of evidence to support claims, and this does not transform fiction into fact. Ang sinasabi pa ni VP Sara sa statement niya, the proceeding should be grounded in credible evidence. However, kanina naman nagkaroon lang din ng brief na press conference itong si House Prosecution Spokes Representative Rene Co questioning the VP statement. Ang sabi pa dito ni Rep Co, did they watch the same impeachment trial? Still, Representative Co believes that the argument of the impeachment article remains strong despite the VP's utterances. And kanina lang din sina Bayan Chair Teddy Casino ang sinasabi nila, mas maganda raw kung humarap si VP Sara para siya raw mismo ang sumagot sa mga katanungan ng taong bayan. Lord.
Alright. Tomorrow, ano asahan natin, Marymon, kung sabihin na natin matapos itong witness na ito ngayon?
Well, iba-iba kasi yung scenario na nakikita natin ngayon. If ever matapos na si Attorney Jeremy Lotto at maisipan pa at mapapayagan pa talaga ng korte, ipepresenta na next itong si Attorney Zulaika Lopez, Chief of Staff ng OVP. Kung sakali man na may magre-request na putulin muna, ipagpapatuloy bukas si Lopez, so yun yung mangyayari tomorrow. Pero ang nakaschedule din for Wednesday, aside from Zulaika Lopez, kung sakaling magkaroon ng extension, is from the House of Representatives naman, Office of the Sergeant at Arms, na si Captain Belinda Bello. Pero still, article of impeachment 4 pa rin tayo or yung alleged threats. And ang possibly na mapag-uusapan kung sakaling si Captain Bello ang ihaharap, tungkol naman doon sa nangyari kay Attorney Zulaika Lopez na nasa kustodiya ng House at kini-question niya kung siya safe, may threat daw sa kanya na nagbunsod nung reaction supposedly ni VP Sara Duterte. Lord.
And we suppose Captain Bello is a is a witness for the defense.
For ang ipapresent siya ang nakaschedule for tomorrow. So, yung defense kasi on the latter parts pa
Yeah.
ng trial calendar, ang mangyayari pa lang ngayon, pagka-present dito kay Captain Bello, direct examination from the prosecution, and then cross-examination, and then it would depend na rin ulit kung magkakaroon ng recross or redirect examination tulad ng nangyayari ngayon kay Attorney Lotto.
All right, day 5. How many more days to go, Mary Mon?
87 days to go.
Konti na lang. Maraming salamat sa iyong ulat, ang ating mobile journalist sa Senado, Mary Mon Reyes. All right. Stick around. More stories ahead when Political Beat returns. And you're still watching Political Beat. It's day 5 of the Vice President's impeachment trial, and ongoing currently is cross and recross and further crossings of debates and more questions from either side. And sitting right now is NBI Regional Director Jeremy Lotok. As to the possible outcome, as to the possible strategies and tactics, legal and otherwise, we talk to, everyone calls him the Pinoy Street Lawyer of Santo Tomas, and also an avid cyclist and a Gawad Manileño awardee. We have,
And law practitioner.
and of course,
Trial practitioner.
and Attorney Danielito DJ Jimenez, a.k.a. yun, Pinoy Street Lawyer. Attorney, thank you for joining us in the studio,
Thank
sir.
you. My pleasure, Idol Lord.
Kayo, idol, sir. Okay, your thoughts so far on the trial? Kasi may mga nagsasabi that the presiding officer should already put his foot down kasi medyo nagiging over-judicialized na raw.
Well, actually, this impeachment proceeding, we must remember that this is both political and legal. If we will be too strict about it, all that the prosecution needs to establish is the grave threat that was committed by the Vice President. Nothing more, nothing less. But I think at the end of the day, they try to make it theatrical because people are watching. So sa dulo, I suppose because of the political nature of the impeachment proceedings, the votes of the senator judges would not really be strictly geared towards legal. Kaya ganun din ang strategy ng defense, di ba? Earlier, pinalabas din yung video recording where the Vice President uttered some unsavory remarks against the House.
Pero ang sinasabi nila, yung sinasabi mong theatrical, that's on whose side? Defense or prosecution,
I
sir?
think both eh. Both eh. Kasi kung tutuusin, ako as a law practitioner, yung 3 oras na pag-authenticate, that rarely happens in court. As a matter of fact, in most cases, to prevent na ipe-play mo pa pagkahaba-haba, ini-stipulate mo na lang. Ibig
Hindi ba,
sabihin,
ito yung-
nag-agree ka.
Ito yung mga nasa pre-trial dapat, Attorney DJ.
Yes, dapat pinag-agrihan na lang nila yon. Nung una, sabi ko, nagtataka ko, bakit yung defense, hindi pa nila in-stipulate na admitted na yan. Kasi, how can you argue against the authentication by the NBI? Everybody was able to see it, no? Now, hindi nag-stipulate ang defense. So, nagkaroon ng opportunity ang prosecution to present it, and ayan nga, na-highlight, hanggang ngayon, pine-play pa rin. Now I realized na I think that was purposely made because they were also about to present portions of the same video na would also create public attention, which is, yun nga, yung entire context ng meeting.
Yung gusto
Pero technically, simple lang naman dito eh. May threat ba o wala? And is this threat, does this amount to a high crime or a betrayal of public trust sufficient to convict the Vice President, at least on Article 4?
Bakit mahalaga yung o may saysay ba yung pagtatanong ng defense lawyer kanina kung alam ba ng witness ang kaibahan ng krimen sa felony?
Siguro ang purpose lang nila, kasi pag sinabi mo kasing felony, crime is more generic than a felony. Yung felony is more of serious offenses. So parang siguro ang gusto nilang sabihin hindi serious crime or hindi high crime yung grave threat. Because if you look at the revised penal code, yung grave threat below 6 years lang. Pero kung ginamit mo ang electronic evidence, 1 degree higher. Still, hindi pa rin siya maituturing na kagaya halimbawa ng murder na heinous crime or a high crime. But of course, that is something that is argumentative because we've seen that in the Corona impeachment. Ang kaso lang ng Chief Justice ay non-disclosure ng kanyang bank account. Yet, it was considered by the Senate Impeachment Court as a violation doon sa betrayal
Of public trust.
trust.
O kasi
So,
parang,
very vague.
parang yung kung mapapagkatiwalaan ka pa ba namin ulit, yung simpleng pagcast lang ng shadow of a doubt doon sa pagkatao o sa kakayahan mo, sa moral capacity ng isang tao.
govern.
Attorney DJ, singit lang natin. All right, this just in, House prosecutors will no longer present the office of the Vice President Chief of Staff Zulaika Lopez and Captain Belinda Bello as their next witnesses in the trial. The prosecution said that their testimonies are totally unnecessary because Vice President Sara Duterte's remarks were captured on video with Lopez and several media personnel present during the press conference. Prosecutors also noted that the defense used the same video, including footage of Lopez crying, indicating its authenticity is no longer in question. Labo. All right. So, hindi pala matutuloy. Anyway,
I was expecting that actually because kanina nakita na siguro ng prosecution yung tact ng defense, which is to also generate reaction from the people by presenting yung context ng meeting. Now, alam mo sa practice, no, if you are not sure of what a witness will testify on, very dangerous yung
if you don't know the
ipipresent mo.
answers ng witness mo, do not ask question.
The best cross is no cross, so to speak. No? So, very dangerous din to present a hostile witness, lalo na kung magiging mahusay ang pagsagot niyan. And yun nga lang, ang impeachment kasi is not similar to a court proceedings,
Oo.
both political and legal. But if it would have been an ordinary court proceedings, hindi mo kagad pwede kang magpatawag ng adverse or hostile witness. Kailangan, avail mo muna yung modes of discoveries na tinatawag, yung written interrogatories. Ibig sabihin, tatanungin mo na muna siya, ano ba yung gusto mong ma-elicit? Last resort, yung
So pwede yun.
ipapatestify mo siya.
Pwede itanong yun out loud. Yung ano ba yung point nitong question. Parang yung okay lang ba yun? Kasi parang yung kay Risa Ontiveros, may mga nag-question. Kung yung tinatanong ba halimbawa ng prosecution would lead to a specific conclusion.
Yung manner of questioning ng mga senator judges, ako hindi lang ako nag-agree na ang tinatanong nila yung abogado because the lawyers are not the witnesses. Ang clarificatory questions should be directed to the witness. Nung mga unang araw, parang may mga questions sila na directed sa
Abogado.
sa lawyers na nag-o-orate na tuloy.
Then again, sasabihin nila, hindi naman to standard criminal procedure.
Ayun nga kasi, yun ang ano. Pero sa tingin ko, that has to be corrected and I think ang presiding officer, kinlarify na na you direct your questions to the
Oo.
witnesses.
Ang hirap, no? Di yung nakasulat sa bata, parang the rules of procedure will be as practicable as possible.
possible.
Sino magde-decide doon at wala yatang
Very
linaw yun.
vague
DJ,
siya,
diba?
very fluid kasi nga, again, we go back to the definition of an impeachment proceedings, which is both political and legal. Ang medyo gusto ko din i-raise sana, no? Kasi at the end of the day, ang question sino ba nag-finance ng impeachment proceedings? Yung million na ginagastos nila, every taxpayer does that. So, I think it's right to call for accountability, but to allow it to prolong this much, na it will take 3 hours to authenticate the document, parang baka meron pang ways and means by which the impeachment court can avail of certain procedural grounds under the rules na mapapabilis. And what is that? Sa regular court proceedings, sa civil cases, allowed yung tinatawag na judicial affidavit. Ibig sabihin, yung direct examination na ginagawa ilang oras, pwede mo nang i-reduce in a judicial affidavit. Anyway, this is public, pwede nilang i-upload. And then during the hearing, ipapa-identify na lang yun. Kung may objections yung defense on the type of questioning, kung leading o hindi, raise na nila. But bottom line, once the judicial affidavit is identified, then it serves as a direct testimony na shortcut mo.
Correct.
Tapos cross-examination
Wala na ibang pag-uusapan.
Wala na. So, maagang matapos tong impeachment proceedings, the better for us. Kasi both legal and procedural, kahit anumang legal argumentation ang erase mo dyan sa dulo. Numbers game and politics will prevail.
Dito makikita yung halaga talaga ng presiding officer. Kung feeling niya na sapat na nakakadalawang araw na tayo may dito sa isang witness, ano bang mapipiga mo rito? At paulit-ulit na nga lang yung argument. Okay.
Sa ordinary court proceedings, even the judge can say, you finish your cross now.
Diba?
Pwede.
Okay. Ang sinasabi ng defense, no, walang direct evidence of an actual hitman or assassin hired. Ang kailangan pa ba na mapatunayan na may ganyan pagdating sa threat?
Yun nga, we go back to the articles of impeachment. At kung malinaw naman sa articles of impeachment na threats lang yung issue, yung grave threat. So, sa tingin ko, it becomes irrelevant. Kaya lang, no less than the prosecution said na meron kaming ebidensya na may hitman. Tapos biglang nag-testify si NBI, wala ka
naman pala.
So, pwede sana hindi na kasi...
Alam mo, Attorney DJ, binabalikan ko yung Clinton trial. Of course, binasi lang naman natin yung natin sa American system, ano? Pero makikita mo ron, malinaw, walang mga legalist halos. Ang linaw-linaw ng mga paliwanag nila.
Tsaka mabilis.
Mabilis, oo. Tapos ganun din, yung hindi ma-define, hindi na nakalagay sa under high crimes and other high crimes. Pero attorney, ano ba yung high crimes? May sinulat ba ang batas ng high crimes?
Pag tinignan natin kasi yung constitutional provision on impeachment, specific yung mga crimes yung culpable violation of the Constitution, bribery, betrayal of public trust, treason, and other high crimes. So, if we will be very strict about it sa statutory construction, yung statutory construction is a way to interpret legal provision. Siyempre, yung high crimes should technically relate to those. No? Kaya lang, yung term kasi na betrayal of public trust, yun yung parang pinakamalaking takeaway para medyo kung sa tingin ng impeachment court, yung fitness mo as a public officer, na breach mo, yung na-violate mo, malawak Gagaya nga nung kay Justice Corona. And yun lang, if we again look back in history, no, although na-convict siya, no less than the Supreme Court later on granted released his retirement pay, which many view as an institutional restitution. Without saying na nagkamali ang impeachment court at the time, nirecognize nila kasi hindi naman daw sinasabi sa ruling ng impeachment court na forfeited yung kanyang mga benefits. No? Pero may impact. Diba?
Ganon din kay ERAP, di ba?
Correct, oo. So, kaya nga very interesting eh. Kaya lang, sa dulo nga, the senator judges will have to explain their votes, no? And sa dulo, kailangan pa rin yung 16 votes. Kaya nga kung hindi rin naman to makukuha yung 16 votes, ang tanong is it still relevant to proceed? Which I think it is still because this is a call for accountability. Pero wag naman yung sobrang tagal at parang anong nangyayari na.
Parang
With
trial na.
utmost respect, parang madami na ding nag-grandstanding di ba? So parang nagiging vehicle siya for campaign So another question, ano ba to? Magiging election issue ba ang impeachment? Di ba?
Sinasabi nila, ang preparations for 2028 happens now. That's for all. That's for everyone. Ang magiging sa mga pinapasok sa Malacanang recently. Pero yung evidentiary standards ba, sa tingin ninyo, Attorney DJ, at least kailangan ba meron?
Syempre naman, because they have to explain to the public din Kaya itong nangyayari, I think it can go either way If you are a senator judge in defense of the VP, all you need to argue is that I find this not as a serious or a high crime. And then if you are naman against the Vice President, this is a clear betrayal of public trust.
Walang linaw. Walang...
Kasi nga, political and legal.
Relative pa rin siya.
So ang tanong, where to?
Ang prolonged trial would benefit which side sa tingin mo?
It will all depend doon sa ma-unravel in the next hearings. Kasi magandang issue rin yung bank accounts. Because if it exposes the VP na ang dami pala niyang pera, importante rin yan. At saka ako tingin ko ang relevance nito, being an election issue, yung mga undecided voters na hindi sila sigurado kung sino ba ang kakampihan nila in 2028, baka maging material ito.
Pero sinasabi nila na considering na itong Article 4 na inuna nila ang pinaka to use sexy. Kaya ito inuna nila kasi may video at bantaan ay palaging may drama. Pagdating daw sa mga susunod na mga articles, yung mga interesting yung pera, no? Sinabi mo, Attorney DJ. Pero sa bilyon-bilyones maging parang abstrakto na sa Pinoy yan. At yung mga forests of numbers and columns and sa mga ledger lines ay kumbaga may panganib na mawala na talaga yung atensyon, interes ng publiko. Of course, nasa prosecution ito kung paano nila ipepresenta, no?
And very interesting dyan kasi ito lang naman base doon sa nakita natin nung una, no? Yung mga accounts involve accounts of other individuals who are not
Sabihin natin, hindi friendly with the law.
Hindi lang yun, hindi siya connected sa Vice President except tatay niya, kagaya ng accounts nila
Ayan,
Duterte daw, ni former President, ni Kitty. Tingin ko, malaking issue yun kasi ang technically, when you talk of the SALN, yung SALN lang ng VP, pati yung kanyang spouse. So yun lang dapat. So yung mga ibang taong involved, medyo pwede yan theoretically ma-objectan. Lalo na kung di naman mga public officials. So very interesting how the impeachment court will rule on this. No?
Yung issue kanina ng sedition, inciting to sedition, nakakapagtaka lang na itong NBI agent, tinanong siya kahapon about certain things na medyo institution-wide na supposedly yung tanong. Na sinasabi parang to the effect that it's way above my pay grade. Pero kanina, nung tinanong siya about yung why do you think it's inciting to sedition, sinite niya ang Facebook at Attorney DJ at sinabi niya, binase ko sa mga comments sa Facebook na yung mga tao na ready to rally behind her at mag-EDSA, etc., etc. Katanggap-tanggap ba yun ngayon?
Well, again, in purely legal discourse, kulang yun, di ba? Kasi ang element ng inciting to sedition, you incite the people to rise up in arms against the government. Medyo there's a thin line between criticizing the government and yung reaction nga nila. Kasi hindi porke kinriticize mo, tapos nagalit sila, inciting to sedition. Na dapat talaga sinasabi mo, wag niyong sundin. O ipiprevent mo ang branches of government to perform yung kanilang constitutional duty. At the same time, I think, I'm not sure if tinanong ng defense na was the Vice President ever charged in court, no? Kasi malinaw naman yun, kahit sabihin ng NBI na it could amount to inciting to sedition, grave theft, but the fact is, ala pang court case na nafa-file and wala rin conviction. But at the same time, again, this is an impeachment court. No? So for purposes of impeachment proceedings, pwede pa rin, in theory, sabihin ng senator judges, to our mind, this is inciting to sedition. To our mind, this is grave threat. Kahit wala pang conviction. Kasi iba ang criminal proceedings, iba ang impeachment.
Pero attorney, siyempre may kukontra pa rin sa hirit mo na as much as possible, ito pa rin ay may judicial, kumbaga, worth, may
Legal dapat.
may legal pa rin.
May legal
Oo.
basis, di ba?
Parang, sino ba magde-decide dong sa linya?
Impeachment court, syempre.
Court,
At saka, technically, yung presiding officer ang mag-assess din nun eh. Kung
So, in a way-
i-allow ba yung evidence to be introduced or
So
not.
in a way, mahirap din yung walang legal training yung presiding officer.
Oh, definitely. Ako, tingin ko, tama lang na si Senator Cheese in terms of experience niya sa trial practitioner. Kasi nag-practice naman yan.
Oo.
So, hindi kasi porke naging abogado ka na at ang pamilya mo, pamilya ng mga abogado, kaya mo na mag-practice. In fact, may scarcity ng mga law practitioners.
Nako, sinabi mo yan.
Kaya maganda rin tong impeachment proceedings dahil hopefully may mga ma-encourage na mag-law, mag-practice. Yan. Ako, ilang taon na ako nagpa-practice. Hindi ko pa ma-perfect. Puro practice.
Pinag-usapan namin isang batang abogado. Kumukonti raw ang mga nagli-litigate ngayon.
Yes, I would say so. Kasi walang pera. Well, in general.
Talaga?
Hindi siya ganun. If you compare it siguro sa corporate practice, no? Kasi sa corporate, yung tinatawag na table lawyering, na hindi ka na kailangan mag-travel kung saan-saan. Transaction lawyer ka.
Mas malaki kita sa ganun?
Sabi nila. Pero ako kasi, sa akin, of course, yung lawyering, I still consider it as a vocation. Hindi lahat kasi nabibigyan ng opportunity na makatulong.
Saka mahirap pag-litigate, di ba?
Very din siya kasi...
May performance factor siya.
Well, to be successful in law practice, you should be at least be good at both written advocacy and oral advocacy. Hindi ka lang magaling sumulat, hindi ka lang din magaling magsalita, kailangan balanse. At saka you have to be a people person. Mahirap kasi may kanya-kanyang idiosyncrasies ang bawat korte. So hindi mo pwedeng ilabas yung ugali mo kung ang ugali mo mainitin ang ulo mo.
Ay, pwede.
Medyo
May mga naging senador na
ka.
ganyan, pero magagaling.
Senador, no? Sa bagay, pero sa korte hindi pwede kasi sa
At
korte.
human rights lawyers pa sila. Pero mainitin ang ulo. Hindi siya people person, pero tama yung North Star niya malinaw. Pero Attorney DJ, okay, kasi ang tawag dito, sa tingin mo, sinong mas nakapunto so far sa 4 na araw ng pagdinig?
Ako sa palagay ko kasi unfair din naman na para sabihin na yan. But at the end of the day, in the interest of due process, you should still allow naman the camp of the defense to later on present their evidence. It's too
May pagkakataon
premature
naman,
naman to say na hindi na patunayan ng defense. Hindi pa talaga dahil hindi pa naman sila. In fact, in practice, you don't establish your evidence through the other party's evidence. Kumbaga, if it's your time to present your evidence, talagang doon ka magdo-double time. Pero pwede mong sirain.
Sirain.
As to whether or not nasira o hindi, ako sa tingin ko, yung objective ng defense in showing na nagkaroon ng bias, no? Yung NBI, it might not be directly relevant to the charge of threat dahil ang purpose lang nila establish na threat was committed. As to whether or not there was bias, nagkaroon ba ng procedural lapse, that would be secondary. Pero doon sa kanilang effort to play, no? Yung pakita yung more or less the other context of the meeting, malaking bagay yan, not in law, but for political purposes.
Again, hindi nga legal. Hindi to
Yes.
purely legal. Ano?
Hindi kasi siya purely legal.
So, yung 11 days na binigay sa grave threats, maaari ding ma-establish yan, of course, ano, yung pagiging hindi stable, yung emotional instability, halimbawa, nitong Vice President, kunyari, among many other things, pwede nilang gawin.
Yun actually yung ginawa nila by continuously playing. In fact, I think they have succeeded kasi yung mga iba na hindi naman nakapanood, nagulat din, no? So, yun ang kanilang purpose. So, yan yung prima facie evidence na ito nga. Meron ngang threat.
Ako nga,
So,
hindi ko alam yung mga may ibang parts pa pala ron na first time ko lang narinig, of course, kasi parang marami doon ay first time nga lang makikita na sa kanyang kabuuan ng 2 hours, ano?
Yun nga yung ine-expect ko nung una na ang defense is ni-stipulate na nila. Kasi when you stipulate on electronic evidence, hindi na kailangan i-play kasi in-stipulate na nga. And maganda, interesting din kasi nung sila na yung nagpapa-play, nag-i-stipulate na yung prosecution dahil maaring ayaw din nila na ma-highlight. Pero nag-rule ang presiding officer
Actually,
na...
pwede nilang iyan. Pwede lang igiit yun, di ba?
Okay, kaya lang, pinagbigyan na i-play yung sa kanila eh. So, the presiding officer would thought it better na hindi, bigyan na natin, i-allow na natin. So, in that sense, medyo nakapag-introduce sila ng a different perspective insofar as the political aspect of...
Tama ba itong observation ng ilan sa mga sumusunod, sir, no, sa media? Ang sabi nila, ang defense may tendency na mag-focus too much on the
Technicalities.
technicals and the legals. Samantalang, ginagawa yun ng prosecution. But at the same time, alam nila na may nanonood sa kanilang publiko at ina-address nila yung mga bagay niyan. Tama ba yung observation niyo, sir?
Well, sabi ko nga, that's the right of every lawyer naman to object. Now, whether or not it is sound o makakatulong, probably for political purposes. Kasi yung alam mo naman ng netizens, ano? Konting reaction lang. Oh, nag-object ganito. Oh, ginrant. They think na big deal ito eh. But in law, if we base it purely on the political considerations, hindi siya ganun ka-relevant. And it does not automatically destroy the fact that there was threat committed.
Sa huli, numbers game pa rin to?
Sa huli, numbers game and politics. And tingin ko nga dyan, talagang siguro, kung makikita ng mga senator judges na if I convict, will it boost my chances? I will convict. But if it will not, then pwedeng hindi.
Yung kanilang gauge for the public opinion pa rin ang mahalaga.
Mahalaga. That is the political side of the impeachment. As to whether or not mas magiging controlling yung political aspect of it, well, time will be the ultimate truth teller.
Ganda. The pure light of the law, time as the ultimate truth teller.
Marami pang pwede mangyari.
Marami pang pwede mangyari. May 87 days pa tayo. Alright. Sa mga may nais po isang guni, pwede po kayong pumunta sa official Facebook page po ni Attorney DJ Menes, the official Pinoy Street Lawyer
Official,
Facebook page.
dahil nahack yung dati ko kayo.
Seryoso? Walang patawad naman
2010 ko pa ginawa yun eh. But it's all right kasi ako naman, that is not really to make money, but it's to educate it's very important na we give back to society kung ano man yung benefits na nakukuha natin.
May dahilan kung bakit ang tawag kay Attorney DJ Jimenez is the Pinoy Street Lawyer. Dalawin niyo po yung kanyang Facebook. Maraming salamat sa
My
inyong
pleasure,
oras.
sir.
Thank you for coming all the way sa studio, Attorney DJ Jimenez. Nagbike ka ba?
Kaninang umaga.
Ayan. Sa ikaunlad ng bayan, bisikleta ang kailangan. Alright. Thank you, Attorney. There's an old legal maxim that justice must not only be done, but must be seen to be done. The problem is that in this trial, justice is increasingly being seen only through a blizzard of objections, rebuttals, rejoinders, sur-rejoinders, and microscopic arguments over the admissibility of this exhibit or that footnote, or whether witness can still recall the revised penal code and the difference between a crime and a felony. Somewhere beneath the mountain of procedure lies the very question the public actually came to watch. Did the impeachable acts really happen or not? And only on the second week, as the court lost the narrative this early. No one is arguing that due process is optional. Rules of evidence exist for a good reason, and they protect everyone, even those we may dislike. But there comes a point when procedure risks obscuring substance. It is as though everyone has become fascinated by the blueprint of the courtroom while forgetting to build the house. That is a danger in an over-judicialized court. Impeachment is unlike an ordinary criminal trial. It's also a constitutional drama, whether you like it or not, conducted in full view of the citizenry. Public confidence depends not merely on fairness, but also on intelligibility. Fatigue replaces curiosity, cynicism replaces engagement, and the trial becomes an effective substitute for NyQuil. And perhaps that is the greatest irony. An impeachment trial is meant to hold power accountable, yet if it disappears into a labyrinth of hair-splitting technicalities, it may end up accountable only to the lawyers who speak its language. This is what many observers have been fearing. If this actual strategy to intentionally lose public interest will benefit only one side, then it is doing a damn good job. The public deserves something more than an exhibition of procedural gymnastics. It deserves to understand why this trial matters before it stops caring altogether. If every day becomes an endlessly repetitive seminar on evidentiary nuances, the audience will do what audiences always do. You just change the channel because dancing cats are more interesting. And that's the word of the Lord for today in this political beat. I'm Lourdes de Vera. Please enjoy the rest of your evening.